Hey, for your consideration, let's talk about citrus rootstocks, both identifying a problem where the rootstock is taking over on an older tree, and also how do you keep that rootstock from becoming a problem on a younger tree. Where do we start?
Well, we start with our pruning shears, right? Most important thing when you're pruning.
Love it.
Yeah. Next, I'd say for safety-wise would be glasses to protect your eyes.
Absolutely.
And gloves.
Gloves.
Because these can be some thorny guys.
Yeah, and they can get your eyes and they can get your hands.
Yeah.
But I always get my arms torn up too.
Yes.
So
yeah,
long sleeve shirts are probably a better idea than what I'm dressed for. You are actually dressed for pruning citrus
I have protection.
today. Good for you.
Yeah. And then for your bigger cuts, you're going to want a pair of loppers and a saw on hand.
Yes, excellent. Great. All right, well, let's take a look at this tree because I think this tree has some interesting problems that we need to address.
Oh, yeah. So one of the ways of identifying rootstock is where it originates. As you can see here, this bundle of branches here going straight up that are super thorny is originating at the very base of the tree. Now this is originating below the graft union, which we can see right here. In addition, the rootstock is going to grow very vigorously and very tall, and it's going to go straight up, and it'll be very easy to tell the difference between the overall citrus bush and the rootstock growing straight up. So the goal is to take out all of the rootstock. Now because this is so big and so thick, it's going to be much easier to cut off these pieces of rootstock one by one, and then go down here and cut this out. Now, because this is so thick, these guys aren't going to be able to cut it, so I'm either going to use a saw or some power tools. Next tool we're going to use is the saw, and I'm going to use this to get out this guy. That's much thicker than the one I just took out. All right, so this limb is proving more difficult than anticipated, and really what is recommended is to use power tools for this. We're doing it the hard way. So here we are in our citrus house, and here we have a younger tree that has a prime example of a rootstock that we want to take out when it's young. So right here, as you can see, we have a rootstock that is originating underneath the bud union. Now the best way to deal with these guys is actually just to rip it off completely. Now the trick to pulling this is you don't want to just pull straight down, otherwise you'll skin the bottom of the tree. So you want to pull out and down, just like that. So we've pulled it out. We've just ripped out this piece of rootstock, and we've hopefully ripped out the bud so we won't get any more new growth from this. And you should do this as early as possible when they're very, very young. As we've just discussed, rootstock originates from the bottom half of the tree, right? Water sprouts will originate from the top of the tree. A water sprout is a viable limb, and it will fruit. All we have to do is make the cut where we want it to be, and it will join the rest of the tree.
Well, there you have it, some
Just
tips
like that.
on dealing with unwanted citrus rootstock for your consideration.
So